Hey guys, welcome to the South Dade Shoutout. I am Ken Ross here. I am one of two of the co-chairs of the Business and Civics Committee with the South Dade Chamber of Commerce, and as a part of the South Dade Chamber of Commerce, being on the board, my job is to bridge the civics community with the business community. And I have no exception today. This is definitely a topic you'll want to pay attention to today. I have Frank Rosa here of Solar Partners.
Florida Solar
Fuller
Partners.
Solar Partners. Yes, thanks for correcting me. And he is going to talk today a little bit about his business and solar in general. I know I've got a lot of questions, and I've had a lot of questions over the years. I've looked into solar myself. But before we get into any of that, why don't you tell us a little bit of your background, how you got into this whole business?
Well, I'm one of those guys that is I've been an entrepreneur my entire life. I'm an entrepreneurholic. Okay.
Okay, awesome.
So a few years back, about 5 years ago, I used to be a sales manager for a large company,
Okay,
and I trained a lot of salespeople. And after that campaign ended, I moved on, and I trained a lot of guys. One of my guys went on to Las Vegas, where
okay,
he actually got into solar, and he reached out to me. He goes, "Listen, Frank, I know you can train people. I know you can do sales. This is the next big wave here
okay.
in the U.S." And he says, "But Florida is completely virgin.
Right.
Florida has not really done anything. And think about it, it's the Sunshine State."
Yes.
So I got my partner, Seth Rukena, and I sat down with him. He kind of gave us the rundown. And again, Seth used to work for me as well. So
Okay.
I build relationships. Let's just say that.
Nice.
I don't just build salespeople. I build relationships.
Mhm.
So a lot of my guys are out there in different, industries, and they always stay in touch with me. So we sat down and we said, all right, this sounds like the next big thing. And Florida is wide open. Why don't we start? So we started doing our homework, our research. We got the corporation started, and I was like, okay, this is the real deal. This is great.
Yeah.
This is going to be huge in Florida. We're the Sunshine State. Come on, guys. Why not be solar?
Right.
So I got my entire family's involved. My sister works along with us. She's our comptroller, and my daughter does our artwork, our designs.
Yeah, I was going to
You can
ask you. I was
see
gonna make
here.
sure.
You can see Sunny says "Go Solar." She's drawn Earth. She's drawn a design of a solar panel with like a little kid with a baseball cap.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool. You can
When
go on
you
YouTube and see
not
it.
not to interrupt you, you were telling me a little bit about that because you mentioned YouTube. Tell me a little bit more about the video that you were talking
So we came up with an idea of an educational video where Sunny and Eartha have been best friends for billions of years, right? But Eartha's getting sick. Eartha's tummy is hurting because of the emission gases, you know?
Yeah.
So some really smart guys here on Earth decided to create a photovoltaic collector, which is a solar panel, which we call FODI. So
Okay.
FODI is working along with Sunny to help save Eartha. And
Okay.
that's the concept of video. We want to educate the future. We want to educate the children. We are working on publishing a book, a children's book, where it's showing the steps, but they're going to understand how solar works.
Nice.
And it's going to be great. It's going to be
Well,
great.
it also could educate the uneducated, the
Absolutely.
older generations as well.
Yeah.
So definitely something to check out. Is it on your YouTube channel? Then?
Yeah,
How
it's
do you-
on our
how do you
YouTube
find it?
channel. You can go. You can just search it on the YouTube channel. Just put the story of Sunny Solar,
Okay.
and you will find it. You'll be able to watch it, and you'll really love
Pretty unique.
Sunny's
You
voice.
find that logo there with the shades and the sun.
Yes,
I love
he's
it. I
right
really
there.
love this. This is
He's
great.
right there. But see, the idea is we sponsor with Kiddos Magazine. We sponsor Sunny's Reading Corner on all of their events. We just
Okay.
did the Seafood Festival, and the idea there is we give the kids drawing, coloring pages on the story of Sunny, and on the back of that page is our information. So all the kids take it home. So
Awesome.
if a kid tells you, "Hey, Dad, why are we going solar?" What are you going to say? Why are we saving Earth?
Yes. For you and for everyone else, right?
So we're
Obviously.
we're doing it in a way where the kids are the ones who are going to be our number one reps.
Mhm.
Think about that.
Absolutely.
And with Kiddos Magazine, the Sunny's Reading Corner, what it is, Kiddos sponsors local authors of children's books.
Mhm.
So then we sponsor them. So
Absolutely.
they bring their books and they read it to the kids, and we're there. We're involved throughout the entire process. We're sharing. We're literally getting a client right now that we met for the Halloween event last year.
Awesome.
He was working on his house being built. He finally closed on the house in July. We went last week and took drone pictures of the roof because it's so new. It doesn't show. Google Earth won't show you the
Right.
location. That's some of the
Deal.
softwares that we use.
Yeah.
Use Google Earth, but if
Mhm.
you put the address and there's a bunch of trees, then
Right.
we
You can't really do much with
we
that.
can't do much
Absolutely.
with that technology. So it works. It works really well. We
Awesome.
love it. We're having a great time.
Well, I definitely love the education aspect of this because honestly, if you think about this space, right, you're not the only player, right? FPNL is part of that. And any other power company,
Right.
they're investing in solar as well. And you mentioned a little bit before when we were talking about the government and how they are helping people really
Correct.
wanting to give them an opportunity to invest in solar. Why don't we talk a little bit
The
about that?
the administration is pushing really really hard and going into renewables. Why? Because number one, it works,
Mhm.
right, and it drops the emissions gases by a ton. I mean, the numbers don't lie.
Mhm.
So the government just passed the law where you can get an ITC credit of 30%. What does that mean?
Wow.
ITC stands for investment tax credit.
Mhm.
So you're making an investment. Of that investment, you can write off 30%.
Okay.
So whatever the cost of your system, 30% you're writing off. And the way they have it set up now is you can go 1 year retro, meaning 1 year back,
Mhm.
and 5 years forward.
Okay.
So you don't have to take it on the spot right away for that year. You can spread it out if you want to, which is a huge benefit.
So I'm not a tax guy, but for the minimally educated tax person, right? I could decide how much of the credit I take at
You
whatever
definitely
time.
bring it to
over
your
time.
CPA and let them do their magic.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you have a good CPA, just bring them. Hey, listen, I have this credit. What's the most benefit for me? What's beneficial?
Right.
Work it out.
Utilize
Utilize
the advantage that you have to play with it
Correct.
Beforehand as well as after the fact.
Correct. Right now, again, we just landed the largest ground mount system in the Florida Keys history. It's going to be 92.4 kilowatts.
Wow.
Just to give you an example, a regular home is 15.
Okay.
So this is a large system in Sugarloaf. I mean, he has the acreage to do it,
Mhm.
but it is the largest in the Keys history.
Awesome.
So for him, it's a large system, but 30% is a big number.
Right, and it's obviously a large investment in that area for what he does for his business, and I think ultimately that's another thing. Being a business consultant, being
Right.
part of the business and civics committee and on the chamber, something I want businesses to be aware of is like, hey, you also have the opportunity.
Oh yeah,
to
absolutely.
do that as
Businesses, and I mean, this is the one in the Keys is a residential. It's not a commercial
Okay,
account.
okay.
It's a home. It happens to be 10 bedrooms and 12 bathrooms.
Okay.
So their consumption is up there. I mean, their last bill was about $2,800.
Wow.
And
Okay.
people got to understand, even though you're doing budget billing with FPL, you're not really seeing the real hike in the prices. Yes, you're seeing your bill go up little by little,
Mhm.
but if you go into your dashboard, you can actually see your actual real bill,
Right.
where it's like, whoa, it's gone up almost 30%.
Yeah.
We
Well, talk to me a little bit about that because I was born and raised in the Midwest, and this idea of budget billing isn't new for me.
Right.
So explain that to the audience a little.
So what happens is you're deferring every month a certain amount of your bill for later.
Mhm.
So you're trying to budget the number throughout the entire year, but right now it's the hottest time of the year. You're
Mhm.
really not seeing the spike in the pricing.
Right.
It's going up. Every single person here knows their bill has gone up a lot
Right.
since the beginning of the year. And
So-
actually, Bloomberg just came out last month with an article on the energy costs throughout the 10 top cities in the nation.
Mhm.
Miami's number one,
Really?
with a 38% increase.
And why do you think that is?
Because FPL has gotten away with for a long time. They were actually, we were probably some of the lower energy costs in the U.S.
Okay.
for a long time. But they're realizing that, hey, all of their fuel costs, they're using fossil fuels to create energy aside from nuclear.
Mhm.
They're still using oil, and they're still using coal, and still using gas. So the prices go up there. Guess who's going to pay for it? Us, the consumers. We have no control. It's like us saying, I don't want to pay $5 at the gas station.
Mhm.
Guess what? You're stuck. You're going to have to pay that $5.
Right.
So
You can't produce your own gas.
you can't produce your own gas, but with a solar system, you own it. You freeze your bill.
Mhm.
So if you're paying $300 a month, you with a solar system, you're not paying anything up front. What you're doing is you're actually replacing that $300 FPL bill to a $300 solar bill that you are paying and you're going to own. But guess what happens? That freezes at $300.
Mhm.
You can't stop FPL. They already got approved by the commission for another hike for this year.
Sure.
So-
So let's talk a little bit about that. I don't get too far ahead a little bit here in my head. I got a lot of things spinning around, but when it comes to this, I can't remember what you called it. In the Midwest, they call it level payment, right?
Right.
What that allows for
Budget billing.
Budget billing. Okay, but budget billing is going to allow for FPNL to do, and what other people are going to see as an advantage is, hey, my bill stays relatively the same, but those increases are isolated in the sense that when the increase happens, your budget amount will go up a little bit, and you won't see that
the big
hey,
hike.
my investment in my energy, right, through FPNL has gone up, and my bill is going to be higher and higher and higher. It's just going to keep going up, and I'm not going to see that until maybe
You're
it's too late.
seeing it little by little.
Okay.
You know, it might be a $10 increase or a $20 increase
Mhm.
this month. And the next month is another $10 and another $20.
Right.
You know, and every month you've seen it since the beginning of the year. Those numbers have continued to go up. Not once has it gone down.
Sure. And so with that being said, right, you've already mentioned the opportunity that we have here as consumers, as businesses, to invest in solar and be owners of our own energy, right? In this particular instance.
Absolutely.
How what is the process? How do you go about doing something like this? Do you have to invest in just buying your own panels? Do you put those up, or how do you kind of start?
The way it works is to always cash is king. So if you pay it up front, your return on investment is a lot faster.
Okay.
Oh, but we do have finance options. So that's how we compare your regular bill to a finance bill where you're purchasing your system. You pay it monthly,
Mhm.
you know, but the entire system. If you want to add a battery backup to that, it's the same thing. You add it on and you just finance it and you're paying it little by little. There's no upfront cost. So as soon as the system is what they call PTO, is permission to operate,
Mhm.
and that comes from the energy company. So once the system is installed and the PTO is issued, then the next bill is paying the finance company, not FPL.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
so that's what we were talking about earlier. Is why did you buy a home?
Mhm.
Why didn't you keep renting? Because when you were renting, guess what? You didn't own the place, and you were throwing your money away.
Mhm.
You're doing the same thing right now with FPL.
Right.
You're throwing your money away. You're not investing it. So, but now you have an option. You have a really good option. A solar system will replace that bill, and you will own it. And as soon as the system is on your roof, it increases the value of your home by 3.5%.
Okay.
So it is an asset.
Mhm.
And then eventually you pay down the system, and you have no electric bill,
Mhm.
and you own it. It's a beautiful thing.
That's a great proposition. So one of the things I know in my process of looking into solar and wanting to invest in it is this thought or this idea that I would use someone like yourself to get into it, because there are a lot of complexities there. Can you explain some of those things?
It is extremely simple. You
Okay.
can go to your FPL dashboard online. Okay. You go there, and then you go on the dashboard. You click the dashboard button. It'll open up another page, which will give you a graph of 12 months of your usage.
Mhm.
Above that graph, there's a little lever that has a $sign or a KW sign. So it's kilowatts.
Mhm.
Switch it to kilowatts instead of dollars. That graph is going to turn into kilowatt usage.
Mhm.
With a picture of that, you can send it to our team, and we can size the system for you within 24 to 48 hours. We will actually show you a visual of what the system will look like on your roof, and the cost and the savings. Right now, the savings that we have on our systems or software is only calibrated to 4% inflation rate.
Okay.
And it'll save you over 25 years over $100,000. That's a 4%. Inflation is not a 4%.
Right.
I think it's around 40.
Well, and ultimately, there's obviously a lot of press and a lot of speculation about where it's going to go in the future, given that we did officially come into a recession,
Right.
and the economy is the way it is, right? And the labor force is a lot lower. The people aren't trying to get out to work yet. So that is something to consider when you're talking about what you're doing. But the complexity I want to try to get into is the start of this idea of how do you size a system, right? And you said that you can do that easily, but the average person can, right? And when it comes to something like this, you're saying you have a choice to own your own solar, and I instantly think, well, what's another thing that I could invest in? I can invest in transportation. People buy cars all the time, right?
Yeah.
You can use public transportation as well. In this case, you're using public power, and now you're going to go to owning your own power in some sense. Can I just buy my own solar system? Can I put it up myself? Can I do all that?
You need to be certified. You need to, first of all, it needs to be permitted. Okay. So you have to have engineering reports. You have to have the electrical engineers. You have to have CAD drawings. You have, right now we are working with an owner of a local electrical company. He's an electrical engineer.
Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. He's same thing. He wants, but you just can't do it that way. You have to be certified.
Absolutely.
You have to have the licenses. You have to have all that. We've had people call us and say, "Hey, I just want to buy it and do it myself." What they call a DIY.
Yes,
DIY project. Yeah, and we're like, yeah. First of all, you have to be permitted. You're not going to pass permitting without the actual electrical engineering.
You got to have all the talent,
all of that, the approvals.
Absolutely.
It's like trying to do a house without permits.
Sure.
You're not gonna. It's not going to work. It's not going to happen. So you got to use the professionals to do it.
So in other words, it's very important that someone find a reputable dealer and somebody who you can partner with to do this. And because
that is
in order to do it successfully and be able to actually save the most money,
that is correct. We have been doing a lot of work in the Keys. We've been up and down the Keys. We actually have 2 projects right now in Key West, and we've talked directly with the head of engineering in the Keys co-op, and then at the end from Marathon on down to Key West, it's called Keys Electric. Okay. We've both spoken to both engineering departments, and now sometimes if people call the co-op and they ask, we want to go solar, who should we talk to? They're giving a couple of names, but ours is in there as well.
Awesome.
We've received referrals from the co-op and Keys Electric already, because we've been hands-on with their engineering departments, making sure that we're doing everything by the book, the way they want it to be done. The Keys have seen a surge of different companies going down there. There's a couple of companies that come from out of state.
Right.
And they've done some terrible work. So I'm talking to Ocean Reef right now, and the lady from the press there told me, look, you guys have a tough job here in the Keys, because you're going to have to clean up after a lot of people.
Absolutely.
We're doing that. Right. We're going straight to the source. I mean, we're in communication with the co-op all the time, Keys Electric. The gentleman Keys Electric is awesome. Hugo. That guy is a superstar.
Awesome.
He told us flat out, listen, you guys, I know you're coming down from where you're at. Let me know ahead of time, and I'll be waiting for you to stamp your paperwork for you. Just give me a call ahead of time and let me know. And then we told him, and we'll bring you some croquetas in the meantime.
Nice.
He liked that.
He likes that. I'm sure.
Yeah.
They definitely love that idea. And not to steal your thunder a little bit, but you've already kind of hinted at it, right? Yeah. There are many different options out there, and there are folks that are coming from out of town. I know when you think about solar, at least when I first thought about it, the first thing I thought about was Tesla, right? And they have solar panel walls or solar batteries, right? As well as the solar roof, right? But let's talk a little bit about why a solar system like that couldn't work in South Florida. Why?
Because we have the most stringent rules and regulations because of hurricanes.
Yes.
It has to pass the highest level of testing there is for wind. And the solar roofs so far haven't passed it.
Yes. You got to have hurricane ratings. This is part of the reason why you were saying there are people out there just to make a quick buck, and they don't realize all the different requirements.
Exactly.
And they don't install a system well enough to meet these.
We've had some through some of our advertising. We've had people call us and say, "Hey, can you come and help us?" I went ahead and got a solar system installed, and this was in Key Largo.
Okay.
So I got a solar system installed, and it's never worked, and the guys are not answering my calls. And on top of that, they drenched the entire front of the house, because the house is kind of like very small.
Yeah.
And her parking is up front, and here's the street.
Wow.
And the pole for the electric is right in front. So they drenched from the house all the way to the pole and never closed it up.
Wow.
She had to end up doing it.
That's really unfortunate for the homeowner there to, basically have somebody cut and run, right? They put up the system, they got their money, and
when we actually went, we took some pictures, drone pictures, but at that point it's like we can't do anything at this point because somebody else installed it. We don't want to, but we did help her.
Mhm.
We sat down with her and said, all right, let's take a quick look at your contract.
Mhm.
And we did find some clauses in the contract that will allow her to get out. And
Oh.
she appreciated it a lot. But the system also was too small for what she needed.
Really, it was
Yeah.
undersized.
It was undersized. Again, it was like you said, it was like a snatch and grab and let's get out of here.
Right.
And then she was paying the price for it. But she did go ahead and follow our instructions. She did call the company. The company supposedly was going to go and do right by her.
Do right. Okay.
But we did, we did a lot of work for nothing. But for me, it was worth $1 million.
Absolutely. Well, you want to see this progress.
Absolutely.
Right? Absolutely.
I'm a huge fan of solar.
Mhm.
I've been in sales for the last 30 plus years, and I could tell you, so this is the first time I'm having a great time of what I'm doing.
Awesome.
I'm doing a lot of talking like I'm doing with you today. I'm doing the radio shows on the Keys a lot,
Okay.
twice a month. And it's just getting the message out there. The reason Florida's far behind
Mhm.
is because of the lack of understanding.
Right.
They think, okay, if I put it on my roof, is my roof going to start leaking? No, it doesn't work that way. If I put it on my roof and a hurricane comes, is my roof going to fly off? No, it doesn't work that way. Just as an example, I told you earlier,
Yeah.
with Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico, Maria devastated the entire grid of the island.
Right.
2 years prior, the VA hospital in Puerto Rico had gone solar.
Mhm.
The next day, not one panel was damaged, and they had power. The only ones that had power.
Awesome.
Because they went solar. They withstood 180-mile-an-hour winds. That's a lot.
Yes.
That's beyond a Category 5.
Right.
That's already above that. And it withstood it, and no panel was hurt. And also, so you understand, if something like that happens and one panel is hurt, they have what's called microinverters. Each panel has their own little brain
Yes.
that you control with an app on your phone. If one of those panels go down, the rest will continue to work, and you will get an alert on your app, and that can be replaced. The panels do have a 25-year warranty. So if they're damaged or broken, they can come back and replace them.
Awesome. So let's talk very quickly because we don't have a whole lot of time left, but we talked about this particular scenario in Puerto Rico, right?
Yeah.
Where a hospital network invested in solar. They had this power. You can do the same thing for yourself, right? If you put up batteries in your house and you have a solar system, you can have I wouldn't say a hurricane proof, but you could have a backup power and
Yes.
be in some sense your own generator, right? You don't
That
have
is
to have a Generac or any of those types of systems. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Correct, exactly. So what happens is, in the case of a hurricane and the grid goes down, if you have a battery backup, the battery will turn on immediately. You won't even feel it. That's how quick the switch turns on.
Right.
All right. So let's say that the power is out for like a week, which happens here all the time.
Right.
Like with bad hurricanes, we could be out of power for a week.
Right.
During the day, the sun is still shining. The
Right.
sun is not going to go away. So that sun is powering, instead of sending it to the grid, is powering your battery.
Mhm.
And then at night, the battery is still working. So every day, the system is powering itself.
and it's generating power.
It's
for it.
generating power. You can use
Absolutely.
it. You'll probably be the only house in the block that will have energy. Actually, you can start a little business. This is the idea, guys. All right, listen to me. You're gonna
There you
get a couple of large ice makers, and you put it in your garage next to your battery, and then you sell ice to all your neighbors.
Definitely can make another business,
And
right?
make
there
another
for
buck.
yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Use your system. Let the neighbors pay for your system at
There
that
you go.
point.
At that point, yes. At that point, you're definitely doing a service. Well, I definitely get a good sense how passionate you are about
Yeah.
this, how you want to be a good corporate citizen of
Absolutely.
solar, right? You're not just out there trying to make a quick buck, like you said. You want people to really understand this investment. You've invested a lot in training and knowledge,
Yeah.
and giving people the opportunity to find it. How else can we find you, and what else do you have to say in the last minute here?
Well, you can definitely go to our website at floridasolarpartners.com. We have a lot of information. Some other stuff that I'm talking about, the Bloomberg article and on such, you can find it on our website. We have a lot of knowledge information. We also have a portion where you can see some of the projects that we're working on, some of the events that we are part of in the community.
Mhm.
We just want everybody out there to understand that solar is here and it's real. It's a real deal. You have an option now. You, instead of just being glued or married to the only energy company you have no choice to go from,
Right.
you can now go from that to solar, and you own your own system. Give us a call, 305-330-6868, and just get a free quote. It's not going to cost you anything. The cost of doing nothing is more expensive.
Right.
learn something about it, get a quote. It's really simple. All we need is the dashboard from FPL. You can give us 12 months of your kilowatt usage, and from there we can size the system and get it back to you with a quote, so you can see what the system looks like on your roof first of all, and you can see what the cost is going to be and compare that. And it's going to be a fixed cost, fixed. You're not going to it's not going to increase for you in the future. So again, 305-330-6868. And we have operators all the time, 24/7, are working, answering phone calls, and helping people go solar.
Awesome.
So
Well,
Sonny says go solar.
yeah, Sonny is definitely doing it. And well, we thank you very much for coming out. The chamber is really happy to give you this opportunity to educate us on solar. And
I
stay
appreciate it.
tuned for more the South Dade Shoutout. Thank you.